Alright, I think I'm going to call this doubleheader. And welcome back to Indian Trace. A familiar site because of a museum series. And we're going to take a look at some spectacular Indian artifacts from Riverdale and from Stone Mountain vicinity, that area. And they're here. I just pulled them up, went through my collection, and I knew when I looked at them, I know where it came from. And this land area, which is down near the river, just has been phenomenal. So as I fly over these, the reason I'm going to call it doubleheader is because right here in the back, something else to see. So I'm going to take a little bit of time here, see if I can get myself in a position that's comfortable and be able to check out these artifacts. I went by Mecca today, although, as many of you know, and I've mentioned, we just have not had the rain. Look at this, though. I trusted in, and there's a video before this, I trusted in location. And when you do that and you just decide how you're going to move and you know how to look a little bit, if you trust in location that's newly turned, and look at these, then, good things happen. Just some great artifacts. I move them around just a little bit to see. And I did well, as you can see. These are great artifacts to me. A lot of these will be gifts as I reposition these things. But, and sorry, here, I just want to give you a good look at this stuff. Found these again this morning. Just went out for about an hour and took some time to exercise a little bit and find some. This is that piece that's on the video before, cleaned up. Just a fantastic quartz piece. If I can get a close-up on it. Just a nice piece altogether. But a few more too. Marl Mountains, very common in North Carolina. So as you can see, this is happening in half an inch, quarter inch of rain. If we get a good rain, I have far too much great areas to check out. Far too much. I mean, look at this. So we go right down the line from smallest to biggest. Just give you a quick look at it. And a lot of you are familiar with these, but this is material from eastern North Carolina. And a lot of you are familiar with hunts like this. You know, you just go out and pick up the artifacts, and you score pretty good because you pick up some stellar pieces for display. But then there's a lot that are just really great artifacts and materials. I mean, look at this sugar quartz. Varieties of stuff, rhyolites, quartz pieces that they worked. Monster Marl Mountains made out of, I think it's an old type of rhyolite, I'm not sure. And then you had those tips that you just missed, you know, like look at this. Look at this. You can even see where it was hafted and discolored. The sinew on the back, I think that's what does it. Another little Guilford. Anyway, check that stuff out. Was just a good morning. That's a fun time when you get out to do that and find stuff like this. So let's see if I can tie the rest of this stuff in, which is on a completely different area, moving down by the river. These three big points first, I'll just knock them right off because we're there. The Great Marl Mountain here, and I mean big. I mean, just give you an idea in the hand. They're big. Fantastic Marl Mountain. And they're thin. And look at this piece. Off a stone cap, and it's all in the same acreage, really, land area. And this is an incredible point right here from Stone Cap. So, when you hear me say either Riverdale or Stone Mountain or whatever, these are all in the same neck of the woods, if you know what I mean, within a 2-minute, 3-minute run, going through the woods. I see coyotes and beaver, and it's pretty cool. Look at that piece. Nice red tip. That was on video a long time ago. So as we look at those are really great big points right down there from that area. Really great stuff. Let's knock off a couple more here. Look at this. Stone Mountain point. Stone Mountain puts out a lot of this, I would say, vein quartz. Good stuff. Similar piece, but a completely different material right here. We'll go around the outside first, I think, which are picking up 3 of these. I mean, these points speak for themselves. That's a piece of smoky quartz that's just completely stellar. Just an opportunity to see a type of museum display from eastern North Carolina. Now, I've gone to a lot of museums, and I know a lot of you guys have. And what we have for a collection, I've said it more than once, I guess in a humble way, it far exceeds many of the museums I've been to. Some of the museums are absolutely stellar. I mean, they have monopoly on some of the properties now with state and federal protections, and that's a whole nother story, but that's fine as long as they keep it safe and save it. Nice little piece there. Again, here's the Stone Mountain quartz variety. We'll go right back over the other side and look at this. Sand Passage Point, which is just, I've got to show you this, one of my favorites. Just a fantastic piece. It's a little thicker, but it's just a stellar piece altogether. It's ground on the bottom, which I don't know how much that means, if it means it's archaic or what have you, but it doesn't matter to me. It's just a great ancient hunting point, and you can't beat that. Relieve right off the back. What do I mean by that? It makes it nice and thin. It's a nice point. Now look at this small mountain. Riverdale Point. Rhyolites, what you're looking at there when it comes to banded. My time's good. I'm going right through this. Here's a stellar find from Stone Mountain. Great point. It's about 2 inches. It's hard sometimes when you just see the film to see what size they really are unless you get them in the hand. And I do not want to pick them all up, that's for sure. That's fuzzy. I'm not getting a good focus on it. There we go. Let's see. I got to move slower. That's what it means to try to keep it in focus. Nice stuff down there, but I mean, check this stuff out right here. Talk about color. Never saw anything like this one. Pointer drill. Doesn't matter, it's just pretty stellar. All right, let's roll this thing right around. Interesting. Look at the bottom here, these 3, but look at the 2 on the outside. This one and this one. So similar, aren't they? And they were found pretty much on similar ground. I wouldn't be surprised the same person made those 2. I mean, pretty cool. And then you have this rhyolite notch point right in the middle. Again, this is Site 4, down towards one of the rivers here in eastern North Carolina. Look at this big old piece of quartz. Just love it. Let some of these points just speak for themselves. As I said, many comment around 2 inches on average in terms of its length, which I absolutely love that length. It's just a favorite 2.5 inches or what have you. We don't find those 6-inch sedalias or 5-inch or whatever the world they are. They're stellar in their own right, but you got to do with what you have. Wherever you are, you just do your best to save what's there, and be thankful for it. And I learned that really from Richard. Sort of knew it in my heart already, but he said it and it confirmed. Look at these 3 at the top. Riverdale. And if you got these wet, they'd be greenish blue. This is, and I see the sun coming in over. I don't know if they're really coming in terms of the color. Nice though. Another piece of rhyolite here from Stone Mountain. This was a favorite with a lot of comments. I mean, the flaking on this is just crazy. I don't know if we can get the focus in for that point. And as we get ready to finish up, I mean, just some fantastic finds there. I mean, this is proof, evidence that you just got to go back out there and give it another go. And of course, I want to finish off in the middle and not forget. I mean, look at this centerpiece. Just some of my favorites put there because they fit, and there was room for it here. looks like 2 pieces from Riverdale and 2 pieces from Stone Mountain area or what have you. Let's just go right around. Look at this piece from Riverdale. Banded rhyolite. It is ground on the bottom and on the outside, just a fantastic point. A lot of great comments from that. I put that up. Of course, these are all my display points from Riverdale and in Stone Mountain vicinity. This is one of my favorite points. It's not thin. This is pretty thick in the way it's built. To me, this is, I don't know, sometimes they just feel like a point you really love, and they're just thick, and you like their strength or how they're made, their shape. Everybody has a different appeal for artifacts, but that to me is just a great piece to be a favorite, I mean, look at this thing. This thing was found, one of the very first points I found at Riverdale. Funny, I haven't found any more like this one at Riverdale, but you got to take it. Little teeny point, about an inch and a quarter. And then this stellar piece, it's probably late Paleo. And everybody looks at that and wonders, what in the world? And I've focused on it pretty good. I mean, it's thin as can be, which to me doesn't totally make the point. I guess it adds to it a little bit, in my opinion, but not a terrible amount. Just incredible the way they made it. And since it's so thin, of course it's going to be hard to run a flute channel up there. But they certainly tried. You can tell how they thinned it. But anyway, just a great point. And as I mentioned, anybody wants that, you just throw an offer by me. I'd be happy to send this out the door. Sort of a personal promise I made to myself if I found a piece such as that. So, hey, you can have it in your collection if you want. All right. Well, from this morning stuff up here, that's what it's about, collecting artifacts. To the finds that, I consider whole this morning. To these great finds from Riverdale and Stone Mountain in that vicinity. Really appreciate you guys tuning into Indian Trace and getting a chance to document a specific land area where the artifacts come out. And this is probably going to be about my last museum series piece, because I'm just not going to scrape up another site. I have some more, but it's just not as significant. All right. Appreciate you tuning into Indian Trace. Have a great one.